What up, everyone? It's it's 8:34 Eastern. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started for the day. So, you guys may have realized that I've been gone, haven't been making short form or long form or even doing live streams. My internet was broken yesterday, but we got that fixed. Once again, stuff that's out of my control, affecting me, and there's nothing I can do about it, right? So we move forward, and we don't care about the stuff that's out of our control, right? So anyway, let's get rolling. I'm awake, bro. I'm awake. We're here. We're up. We're awake. And yeah, let's get rolling. So to start off the day, what was I gonna say? But yeah, my internet. The reason I wasn't live yesterday is because my internet wasn't working, and guys, there's not much I can do about that. So I did take a trade yesterday. It was actually really, really nice. It's the universe telling you to chill. Yeah, valid. But what I was saying is, I actually did take a trade yesterday, and I might make a market recap covering the past couple days because I really want to cover that trade later. It's pretty cool. And it hit 3R. It was my first strike off of the first presented for value gap. I just took a 15-second change in state, and that hit 3R. So I thought that was a pretty cool trade. But anyways, guys, yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into the charts. Actually, first, let's go ahead and, as always, check news. Pull up Discord. Yo, what up, Sorba? I can't say your name, bro. Sorab. What was I gonna do? Yeah, okay. Check news. So, like I was saying, guys, yeah, the past day, for anyone who's just now joining, the past day, my internet wasn't working yesterday, and that was not in my control. So I was able to take a trade on my phone, but I couldn't live stream. So unfortunate. But the trade I took yesterday was such a banger, guys. It was insane. Like, genuinely 3R, and it went straight to TP. It was so sick. I'll actually show you guys. First, let's check news. So today, unemployment claims. So we had unemployment claims come out 2 minutes ago. Let's go ahead and screenshot that and post this in news for the day. I want to get better at posting these every single day, but sometimes I do forget, and it's just part of the process. I'm gonna keep getting better at posting it every single day. So Thursday, September 18th, and we had unemployment claims. So anyway, I'm gonna show you guys the trade I took yesterday. It was awesome, guys. It was so cool, and yeah, it was so simple too. What happened is yesterday, the first presented for value gap formed. Where was it? Right here. Yo, what up, Mediumer? I can't say anyone's names, guys. I'm so sorry. Medimer. How are you, bro? I'm going to show you guys the trade I took, though, yesterday. It was so nice, guys. So nice. We had the first presented for value gap, and the reason I liked this first presented for value gap so much was it was in premium of this leg lower, right? It might have even been at OTE, and that was something that kind of was going off in my brain, right? You can see it was at OTE. So I really like that. And then if you look at the higher time frame, right, this aligned with kind of like a 5-minute change in state. So I was in a 5-minute gap. So I was thinking, okay, this is kind of a good area where the market could react. And then I also noticed that we had a volume imbalance. So it's also a 2022 model, right? Because we had a liquidity sweep, break of structure, right? And then a fair value gap in premium. So I felt this gap was incredibly high probability, and then you'll note the volume imbalance that sat just past the gap. You guys may or may not know from my previous videos, if you have a volume imbalance that's sitting right past 2022 for a value gap, this is going to be super sensitive, and I call this the backboard. And so I saw us react off of this, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really nice. I want to see 15-second change of state off of this. So we reacted off of that. Then we got 15-second change in state. And so the trade I took was exactly this, right? Look how perfectly we react off that volume balance. We also swept midnight too. So we got 15-second change in state, entered there. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I wish I made a market recap yesterday, but I had other things I had to do yesterday. But in the future, guys, I do want to get better at making those market recaps every single day for you. And then, yeah, I just targeted that low, and this was about 3R. Amazing trade. I was very happy about it. Unfortunately, the part that really messed me up is the copy trading didn't go through, and it didn't copy trade across all my accounts, which made me very mad. But you know what? One day at a time, guys. I'm very happy that I was at least able to see that trade and then also execute it. I wish I could have done it live. I mean, obviously you guys are like, wow, the one day you take a really good trade, you weren't live, and it's like, well, not much I could do, guys. My internet was down, and you know, I really do think I would have taken that exact same trade if I was live. So like I said, there's not much I can do about that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on for the day. So today, we're back at all-time highs, right? Back at all-time highs, and you know, let's just start out with some analysis here. So I'm gonna open up my journal, and I'm gonna show you my other screen here. All right, let's go ahead and just start doing some charting, right? Figure out what happened so far today, and I will calculate the risk in just a second. But yeah, what happened in the past couple days is we voided up, right? We had this giant void, and well, when the market leaves a void, a lot of time it wants to end up going down and fill it, right? And so you can see exactly here, that's exactly what happened. We ended up filling this void and then expand higher off of this. We had a gap here. So one thing we could do is we can try and frame a model off of this to see how much further up we could go. Yeah, look, we had SMT with this low, right? So SMT with this low, and yeah, once again, guys, right now I'm just trying to frame a higher time frame model so we can get kind of an idea of, you know, how far up we could go here. So because I do think it's important to, you know, frame a higher time frame model first, and then we can go down lower time frame and look around. Once again, guys, we could get something here right away. It looks like we are forming a 5-minute breaker here, and it does look like it has good signature. So that's something to think about, right? We do have this 5-minute breaker that swept out this high with a good low below here. So but since I only get one trade, I want to be very thoughtful, and it's also hard to short at all-time highs. So you have to be very careful. But you know, we do have a sweep of this high. We might have SMT as well. We do. So we have SMT with this high. And 730s right here. Yo, what up, Piper? How's it going? I was going to frame a higher time frame model, but But actually, this is looking really interesting, guys. And I know it's all-time highs. I don't really want to short, but I want to map this out first. This is a 90-minute sweep. I really don't want to short, but I just want to map this out because I am thinking this is looking kind of interesting. Where's the sweep at? 90-minute sweep, 90-minute SMT. Like, obviously I wanted to frame a higher time frame model, but first let's look at what's going on right now, because I do think this is kind of interesting. So we had a 90-minute SMT with a 90-minute sweep. This is seeming like accumulation. Whoops. Accumulation. Accumulation, manipulation of this high. And then we have 7:30 right here. And we're also way, way, way above midnight. We're way above midnight, so that's all good. That's all good. So then 7:30 is right here. 8:30. Let's actually just pull up the time levels real quick. Eight 9:30. 8:30 is right there. I don't know if we're gonna go up above 8:30, but 7:30 is right here. So I was gonna frame my higher time frame model first, but I just want to map this out because this is looking kind of interesting, right? 5-minute breaker. So we have 15-minute rejection block. Got swept on S&P. It did not get swept on NAS. Let's actually mark it out like this. 15-minute rejection block. I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to short, right? Because once again, higher time frame is still bullish. We're obviously in the middle of holding this gap, but I do think it's interesting, so I am going to look at it. Yo, what up, Guadam? Dude, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, bro? So once again, guys, take this analysis with a grain of salt because we're at all-time highs. But this is kind of popping off the chart to me, so I want to at least take a look at it. But once again, we're at all-time highs. You have to be very careful with shorting. But I kind of just noticed this right away, so I'm gonna mark up what I'm noticing. Right, we have this true open here, and we have 90-minute S&T and 15-minute rejection block. 1 minute change in state. This could be very sensitive. It could be. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything yet because I literally just got on the charts. So, but I'm going to put this in 15-minute, 1-minute models here. And then if we frame out this here, 4th standard deviation. Actually, I would target the 3rd standard deviation here. Yeah, first let's actually just measure out this model here first. Once again, guys, this is just an idea. I don't want to rush into anything because I literally just got on the charts. But yeah, this is a 1 minute change in state. But I just like marking up stuff that I notice right as I get on the charts here, you know. I'm looking at 24,716 equal lows. Yeah, bro, I'm noticing that too. So once again, guys, it's very you know, you have to be very cautious with shorting at all-time highs. You're using the S&T indicator. How is it? I'm liking it. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it because I think it's one of the better SMT indicators that exists, to be honest. I really do like it. I don't know how to use it sometimes because I want it to show me like higher time frame SMTs, and then I zoom out, and then it doesn't really show me the higher time frame ones, and I don't know why. But other than that, I really like it. Like, it's showing up on the 5 minute. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really wanting to use a ton of paid indicators, but I do really like it. It's probably the best. It's actually probably the best SMT indicator I've ever seen, if I'm being honest. So I really do like it. But yeah, anyway, guys, I'm going to frame this as a sell model. Once again, I just got on the charts, and I only get one trade a day, so I really don't want to rush into anything. Especially because it's a 15-minute, 1-minute model, and we're at all-time highs. So does that really even mean anything? It might not. So I'm going to frame it, but I'm not going to do anything, right? I just got on the charts. 7:30 is here. 1-minute change in state is here. And then that 15-minute rejection block. So yeah, I'm going to screenshot this, put this in 15-minute, 1-minute models. Once again, keep in mind we are in this gap with displacement, so this could fail. This could fail. It's also just a 15-minute, 1-minute model at all-time highs, so like that just doesn't mean a ton. Oh, hello. I did not mean to click that button. So I'm gonna put this in 15-minute, 1-minute models. I just need to untick smaller time frames if I need high time frame. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay, that's good to know. But yeah, I did kind of want to frame out the higher time frame model first. And then the other thing I was noting, right, is this is a 5-minute breaker. And I was like, wait, this could end up being a nice breaker. And actually it is. It is ending up to be a nice breaker. We're getting, we got 30-second change in state off of this. And now we're heading lower off of this 30-second change in state. Oh, you can't see my screen. Whoops. So 30-second change in state. There we go. Off of the 5-minute breaker. That's pretty clean. That's pretty clean. But yeah, once again, I just got on the charts, guys. I'm not really looking to do anything yet. So anyway, I might go use the bathroom in just a second. Keep in mind, guys, we still have this gap. We still have this gap. And higher time frame is super bullish. Okay, back to framing out a higher time frame model. I honestly like this as a 4-hour implied gap. And then or maybe even just a 1-hour implied gap. Man, it's not that obvious. I guess from this wick to this wick, that's not obvious, but still. I also need my fan just got here, so I can replace the fan on the computer so it doesn't make that noise anymore. But I can't do it yet because I'm in the middle of streaming. Okay, so measuring out standard deviations. Okay, this actually kind of makes sense then, right? We had 1-hour implied gap, and now we're at that max extension. So we definitely could get a retracement. Oh my gosh, it's like whatever I say is just 2 seconds behind. But yeah, we were at the max extension of this model, so it makes a lot of sense that now we are retracing, right? We are retracing now. You can see we hit the 2 here. So yeah, guys, we definitely, there was opportunity here off of that 90-minute SMT. And Yeah. But good thing we have the whole session to possibly catch a trade, you know? So, but this shows that we're kind of in tune with the market today, hopefully, right? Because we did just call out that move lower there. So I'm liking this, the way this model is framed here. The 1 hour, 5 minute model. I mean, this is looking like very, very textbook. Yeah, we hit this max extension, so that's why we're getting this retracement. We filled this void here, right? We filled the void. So that was kind of another part of the model, was we filled this void. Oh, one thing we should look at, guys. Where is the RTH gap going to form? That's going to be, I feel like that could be helpful for today. Bro, we're really getting this much movement right now, huh? Yeah, I was genuinely considering there to be opportunity there, and yeah, I just barely got on the charts, so you know, you kind of just want to be a little patient when it comes to that kind of stuff, but clearly there was opportunity, so void. So yeah, void ended up getting filled, and then you can just see here clearly that this was just a 1 hour, 5 minute model, right? Max extension hit. Market maker model cheat sheet says 8:30 news will be manipulation, then 9:30 distribution. Yeah, I could see it. So I'm going to put this in 1 hour, 5 minute models, right? We had S&T at the low. Once again, guys, sorry about the noise. I'm getting the new fan for my laptop. I already have it, so I just need to basically put it in, right? So I just got to do that, but I can't do it right now. So yeah, there we go. That was a nice market maker model, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to see. It feels kind of squished, but this did end up hitting max extension. So bang, bang. You can see clearly AMD, right? We had accumulation, manipulation of these lows, and then distribution up off of this 1 hour gap. We hit that max extension. I don't know. I don't really know exactly what Kirk's talking about, but let's go ahead and screenshot this. So, you know, higher time frame is bullish. We got to keep that in mind, right? That the move lower that I wanted to see is kind of happening right now. So maybe, you know, this is actually a good thing, because then we could take a move higher later. But I do want to see where the RTH gap is going to form. So let's go ahead and put this in 1 hour, 5 minute models and save this. Okay, Kirk, no you're not. You're helpful, bro. You're helpful. Everyone here is helpful. We're all helping each other. Okay, so like I said, guys, this ended up being a 15-minute, 1-minute model, and you know, let's pull this back up because I had this framed. Just this popped off the chart to me. It was very obvious, right? 15-minute rejection block, 1 minute change in state. We manipulated our true open. This is our true session open. And we had a 90-minute sequential S&T, and bang, that was history, right? We did not come back and tap this 1 minute CISD. I think if we did, that could have been a sniper entry, but we didn't. And now we're on our way down to the 4th. We just hit the 4th, right? Perfectly. So very beautiful model here. Played out very, very nicely. And you can see, yeah, there's our max extension. I mean, we could end up going to our Jake trades at max extension, my 8th standard deviation, but I don't know. They're 7th. Sometimes it's the 7th, bro. Okay. So, yeah, this was clean, guys. Yeah, once again, guys, sorry about the computer, but there's really nothing I can do about that at this exact moment. I'm going to get the fan replaced later. So, let's go ahead and just put this, let's go update this model here, right? Bang. Kind of cool how that played out. Alright, I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick. Once again, guys, we're still in the pre-market. Like, I'm not feeling any FOMO or anything. We're just kind of being a market observer here. Where's the RTH gonna? Oh, first before I use the bathroom, where's the RTH gap gonna form, bro? The close of yesterday was all the way down here. Oh my. Oh, and then look what happened yesterday. Look at that. That was good for bias for FOMC, that RTH gap from yesterday. So now we're going to form another RTH gap today. It's a huge one, though. It's a huge RTH gap. Sometimes when it's too big, you don't come back and fill it right away. So, just kind of depends how big it ends up being. But this is going to be... Wait, it can't be... Where did we close yesterday? We actually that can't be right. What? No, hold up. Hold up. That's not even where we closed. Why is it showing that? That's 9:30. Oh. The crap? No, this is where we closed. I don't know why it's showing 9:30. Okay, this is where we closed, right here. Nah, but... No. Okay. This is going to be the gap. I don't know why it was distorted, but this is going to be the gap. So let's actually get rid of everything. This RTH gap is going to form like this. This RTH gap is going to form. Use December contract. This is just the NQ1 exclamation mark. So it's just whatever contract it's being rolled to. Okay, RTH gap. Yeah, guys, this is looking very bearish. When we have an RTH gap like this and we're violently moving lower, a lot of time the market's just gonna go want to fill that. You're full porting sells, bro. That's crazy. Dude, I clicked the wrong RTH gap. That's not the one I wanted. I want this one. I think you need to adjust for contract changes. Oh, that's probably why, yeah. But I just use NQ. I don't try and... Yeah. Anyway, I can tell where the RTH gap is going to form. It's going to form here. I'm going to go use the bathroom now. But like I said, guys, there's a reason we're moving so violently lower. It's because RTH gap here. So, man, are we going to go fill it now? We ended up getting 90-minute SMT at that high. We have a 15-minute breaker. Are we going to come retest this? Maybe. Probably not. B-ADJ at the bottom corner. Oh. I don't know how you... That's interesting. Okay. I didn't know that. That's cool. I don't know what that even does, though. RTH gap already filled? Wait, really? Okay, let's just pull up the December contract, because I need to know what you guys are talking about. Wait, NQ... Okay, hold up. December contract. Let's pull up December. RTH gap's not filled yet. It's right here. RTH gap's gonna be right here. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not filled yet. But no, the reason you say it's already filled is because it hasn't formed yet. Right? We have to... Market has to open before the RTH gap's gonna form. So I'm anticipating the next one is what I'm doing. Okay. Let me go to the bathroom. Dang, guys, 14 watching. That's crazy. Okay. Or at least there was 14. I don't know now, but let's keep going. Yeah. Yeah, we have to look at the one that's going to form because we haven't got market open yet. So we can't use this yet for us to determine the RTH gap because market hasn't opened, so it's not going to show us the gap. So that's why basically I was saying I'm anticipating it to form. I'm anticipating it to form. It's going to form like this. So what does that mean for us? Well, we're obviously delivering lower. So my bias today is likely going to be to target the bottom of this RTH gap. I think that's going to be a very logical place to target, at least for me. Once again, guys, you guys got to do what makes sense according to your own conviction. We are at all-time highs. As always, shorting at all-time highs can be very scary, but I like trusting RTH gaps a lot. So we have this RTH gap below, and I love this 15-minute breaker. ES is driving towards NDOG now. Oh, let's take a look at that. Yeah, we have the new day opening gap as well, guys. You'll note this is a giant consolidation. So from a liquidity I can't speak. From a liquidity standpoint, it makes sense. We have basically people in this range that are going to get stopped out that we can, you know, pair our orders with, right? You always have to think in terms of liquidity. Where can we get orders filled? Because that's, you know, how big institutions think. You have to think like that. So there's going to be transactions here, which means there's going to be people in this range that are going to get stopped out. So I like this liquidity pool. This is probably where I would target. You could also target the fill of this gap, but we do have this nice break of structure here on the 15-minute. So liquidity sweep, break of structure on the 15-minute. I'm not gonna lie, guys, so far price action is decently clean. Like, I guess it's just because it's a Thursday, and Thursday typically has, you know, pretty good price action. The only thing I'll say though is, wait, actually we haven't even looked at London and Asia. What was I gonna say? The only thing I'll say is, you know, weekly profile could be, it could be a midweek reversal profile. So maybe we continue higher. That doesn't mean that we can't have a retracement. We'll just have to see. Let's just keep analyzing, right? Keeping our options open. But we did get a sweep, a very obvious break of structure. How's the 1 hour look? Yeah, the 1 hour also closed below. So we have a 1 hour change in state. So a nice little sweep here. Sweep. Break of structure. And then let's measure out this displacement leg from top to bottom. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice BPR here. So that's something to watch. It's a nice BPR in premium. So I'm actually just going to put this in my general notes. Like, as a possibility, we might come back to this gap, which would be right above equilibrium. Just a thought. But as always, guys, let's just keep doing analysis. Let me know what you guys are thinking as well, right? We want to take the best trade that we can. As I was saying before, I'm only going to be trading one trade a day now. Well, one loss max in a day. If I take a win or a break even, I'm allowed to allow myself to keep going because it means I'm in tune with the market, and I, you know, don't want to limit upside. I want to limit downside. But that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily going to take another trade if I do get a win. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so yeah, liquidity sweep, break of structure on the 15-minute. So I'm just going to screenshot this, put this in my general, right? Let's go back to the other screen. Put this in Jake general here. So yeah, I'm liking this 1 hour change in state, right? The 1 hour closed bearish on the change. How did I do that again, bro? How do I accidentally click the wrong button all the time? Okay. Alright, so like I was saying, you can see there's like a pretty clear 1 hour change in state. As always, guys, pay attention to the Reaper gap here. There's a Reaper gap right here. This could end up being sensitive. It's pretty obvious, right? This Reaper gap's pretty obvious. You know, just keep it in the back of your mind that there is a Reaper gap here. Once again, a Reaper gap, guys, is when you have a breaker, which is the series of down closed candles before the move up that sweeps liquidity. So it's these down closed candles. This is the breaker. And within premium of the breaker, if there's a fair value gap, that's going to be a Reaper gap. And these are going to be really, really nice to go short at, or long if it's a bullish one. But anyway, guys, yeah, I'm just kind of like waiting for more information. We have market open in 20 minutes. Personally, what I'd probably be looking for today for this any type of trade is I want to see us come up, probably back into premium of this range, at least this range, at the very least, maybe this one. I'm also interested, you know, when the first presented for value gap forms, how we interact with that. But yeah, I'm once again, as always, I just kind of wait for the market to call my name. I'm not going to try and force anything. The nice thing is this is a very obvious Reaper. Very obvious. So I like to mark out things that are obvious, right? And this is a very, very obvious one. So, okay. So what could we realistically get here? We have a 15-minute breaker. It's got good signature to it. So maybe we could get a 15-minute, 1-minute model here. Meaning 15-minute key level, 1-minute change in state. But then again, guys, be thoughtful because market's bullish, right? Market is bullish. Yeah, we had 90-minute SSNT at the highs, like I said before. Okay, guys, something I'm actually really curious about now is, let's look at our gold block range, right? Let's look at it. Pull up 243 here and then shift it back to center. Yeah, look, the low of the dealing range, right at that liquidity pool. It's exactly where we would expect it to be. So, and then we have a breaker in the breaker partition where we would expect the breaker to be. I'm not gonna lie, I like this, right? Then again, the high of the dealing range was not hit, so maybe we need to go up to the high. I don't know. It's always possible. Anyway, just wanted to take a look at that. Alright, guys. I think right now we're just going to be patient. Just wait. I like the RTH gap as a draw on liquidity. We have this 5-minute gap in premium. This 5-minute gap might be, you know, perfect. This 5-minute gap might be perfect for taking a trade off of. And actually, you know, it's a 5-minute BPR and it aligns with the breaker. So, meaning this is like a down close candle, so it's like considered, like, I would consider this a breaker. So wait, let's measure this out. This is a 5-minute change in state. Yeah, I'm looking, basically what I'm looking for is I'm going to wait for something obvious, but I'm going to want to see push back up here and then delivery lower. We still have Asia and London below. So let's mark that out. Oh, guys, I'm dumb. I gotta pull up my accounts, obviously. Duh. And I have to calculate my risk too. Okay, hang on, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna be waiting for something obvious, as always. So, okay. We have to make sure we turn copy trading on. That'll be bad if we don't have that on. Because yesterday I didn't, and I was not happy. Okay. So, copy trading. Alright, looks like it's on now. I just turned it on. So, all these accounts following. So, should be good there. What else was I gonna do? Oh yeah, let's make sure the risk is correct. Okay, 800. So it's gonna auto liquidate me. So if you guys wonder, what indicator did you use for Asia and London? Dude, it's my favorite indicator. I did it again, bro. I made it big when I meant to switch the screen. It's my favorite indicator of all time. It's got everything, bro. It's got it's called ICT Kill Zones and Pivots, TFO. And it's got Asia, London. It tells you your sessions. It gives you time levels. It gives you daily highs and lows, daily opens. It's literally like the dream indicator. I love it. But yeah, what I do typically is I will just mark out. I will use the indicator just to mark them out manually, and then I get rid of the indicator right after because I don't like having indicators on my charts personally. I like to keep my chart mostly clean, but as always, sometimes you guys know me. I do sometimes like marking stuff up. So okay, back to what I was talking about with this other screen here. So 800. That's how much I'm risking per trade on the eval. Yeah, of course, bro. So the risk settings looking fine. Let's make sure the other accounts are looking fine too. Trade limits are disabled on follower accounts. Okay, well they're all set. Besides this one, but that doesn't matter. So, okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and yeah, I think we're good on the top step here. So, I'm gonna get the. What was the other account I was gonna trade? Oh yeah, my personal. And I'm gonna do personal on my phone, so that way. Yeah. So you guys can see the trade as it was as supposed to be taken on there, but since I'm taking it on my personal as well, I can only take one micro because I'm only risking a very low amount per trade, which means the stop loss is gonna be slightly different on my personal, but yeah. I don't know if that made any sense, but it's whatever. Let's just keep going. Hang on 1 second, guys. I gotta make sure this is set up too. But yeah, once again, we're just kind of waiting for market open here. I am pretty much looking right now. What I'm looking to see is I want to see us pull back up to premium here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So, anyway, once again, just hold on while I set up this. I gotta make sure the risk is set up correctly. Okay. Sometimes the Tradeovate app is kind of confusing. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, now that is set. And actually, I might trade my options account too. So, but we're just kind of waiting right now. Okay, let me start to. I'm still calculating stuff out. Okay. So how will I know if price will fail at breaker or use the Reaper as support to continue? Okay, great question, Mediumer. I need to learn how to pronounce your name, bro. I'm so sorry. Mediumer. Hang on, let me try and read this. Mediumer. So how will I know if price will fail out breaker or use Reaper as support and continue to bull? So, the way that it would fail is what I'm looking for. Mediumer. Okay, sweet. Mediumer. Oh, Mediumer. Okay, Mediumer. So you really want to see us get a pretty precise reaction here, right? The way you'll know is we'll get Mediumer. I got it, bro. Okay, so since this is a 5-minute key level on the 32nd, right? I would want to see us essentially get, the typical fill of this gap. Once again, you want to see it push deep into your level. You don't just want it to go a little tiny bit into it. You want it to be obvious. But let's say that something like this happened, and maybe there was SMT here too. This would be what you would want to see, right? 30-second change in state off of this area. Then again, though, it needs to be obvious, and if it's not obvious, maybe we come up and sweep it again. And see, this is the hard part about trading, is this is also valid, right? And you might take this one, but then this one's the obvious one. So you really have to be patient, guys. If it doesn't look obvious, don't do anything, right? And a lot of time you want to wait for market open too, right? We got to wait for market open, but this is essentially what you're going to see, probably something like this, right? If if the market does react there. If the market doesn't, then what will happen is, we'll probably just sweep liquidity and then break structure and then continue higher, right? We've already rebalanced to discount of this price leg here. So is that entirely possible? Yes, right? We've already rebalanced the discount. So if the market did go higher, what you'd probably see is you'd probably see a break of this high and then a fair value gap form, and then we'd expand higher. So be prepared for either outcome, right? We're just kind of being observers of the market right now. But yeah, I'm liking London low as I draw on liquidity, and then eventually maybe that low. One thing you could maybe do if you just want to be a simple guy is, yeah, 9:30 exactly. Wait for 9:30. One thing you could maybe do is, honestly, guys, I do not dislike just entering at this change in state, because this is a 15-minute change in state, and you could just put stop above the high, and then it's just very simple from there, right? You could measure out standard deviations, and we have S&T at the high too. Actually, that might even be what I do. I'm not even gonna lie, guys. I might even just do that, where we have S&T here. So if we came up, now the issue is you might not get filled, right? But we have S&T at the high, 15-minute change in state, and yeah, once again, issue being you might not get filled, but then maybe you just put stop at the high, and then you could target. Look at how Asia's low lines up with the 4th standard deviation. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I actually really like this, but I don't want to rush it, right? I don't want to necessarily say that this is what I'm gonna do, especially because I'm gonna go to the bathroom and think about it. I guess I gotta take the trade if it. Okay, hang on. I'll think about it. Hang on. All right, guys. I'm gonna be patient. If you want to be very precise, like I said, you can drop down to a 30-second time frame, and we can look for a line time frame change in state off of this. So I'll probably do that. So we got market open here. So yeah, we're about to go get filled. If you had your order there, you can do that. I mean, that might just be the move. But you could even have stop here, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, I have to figure out. Okay, so this is risking 200, so I'm trying to figure this out. Wait. So this would, if I had it like this, it'd be 2 micros, right? Yeah, I need to risk 2 micros since this is on NQ, risking 200. Then on microcons, it would need to be, right? Yeah. I'm trying to figure this out. Wait, this is... I'm actually so confused. Wait a second. Let's switch this to 20. And then let's switch this to MNQ. It's going to tell me exactly how many. Oh my gosh. Now it makes... So I literally, if I want to do 1 micro, I have to have a stop loss of that small. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. That's really volatile. So I can take this on my top steps, but I don't know if I can take this on my personal because I can't. 1 micro is way too small of a stop loss. Where's the first presented for value gap? So you only would want to buy 8 micros if you were risking 800, 2 micros if you're risking 200, and literally it's impossible for me to risk 20. So, okay, good to know. Good to know. Market did open. We have not gotten the first presented for value gap yet. Pay attention to the Reaper gap, guys. Pay attention to the Reaper gap. Right, I really do think that this Reaper gap is nice. So I'm honestly, I'm probably gonna wait for an align time from change and stay off of this area. I'm not sure yet. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna necessarily do anything, right? I'm just watching price. I am just watching price. I'm being a market observer because I don't want to rush into anything, right? You know what I'm saying? The market's at all-time highs, so you gotta be very careful here. I mean, it's also important to recognize. Oh wait, we have bullish SMT. Yo, we have bullish SMT. We have bullish. Wait, no, we don't. Oh, we do with this low. Okay, you know, just be thoughtful, guys. Nothing looking obvious to me. 200. So all right, 5 minute. We rebalanced to premium here. So this might be all the market needed. We have 30-second change in state here. So liquidity sweep, break a structure, fair value gap on the 30-second right here. This is the first presented for value gap, guys. All right, first presented for value gap right here. I think, right? Yeah, it looks like it. So yeah, we did react off of that breaker. We could have just entered at that 15-minute change in state here, but that's not a big deal. So this isn't risking 200, so yeah, if I wanted to risk 1 micro, I would need to have a stop loss that small. That's not that realistic. Alright, I'm liking this breaker here. So once again, this is something that could happen where we backtest this. Trying to really be patient and wait for something thoughtful, right? I do think now, so now the RTH gap did form. So RTH gap is below, right? RTH gap is below. I'm really thinking the market's gonna be bearish here. We got this nice breaker. This 1 minute breaker. So liquidity sweep, break of structure. Obviously, I'd love us to come to the first presented for value gap. I don't know if we will. We might just react off of this. What might happen is we might react off of this. So it's a liquidity sweep. Where's 922? But the point is, I do think we're drawing to the bottom of this RTH gap. I'm just kind of figuring out, like, okay, How would I enter this? You could have, you could have taken this 5-minute gap, and then we probably had a 30-second change in state. Yeah, we did. Let's get rid of this now. Yeah. Just being patient. There's nothing wrong with doing nothing, bro. I know the bias. It's just there's no reason to force anything. Oh my gosh. I think I might just take a step away from the screen real quick because I don't want to be in a position where I force something if it's not obvious, and I feel like that's kind of what's happening right now, and so I need to take a step away from the screen. Yeah, guys, I don't know what to say. We're obviously drawn towards that RTH gap low. Sometimes this happens where I know the bias completely, but the market doesn't provide really a good entry for me to get in, really. So we have London low here. At this point, it's very concerning because we're getting to the point where this definitely feels like territory where, I force a trade that I don't need to take, and I don't want to be in that position where I do force a trade. So, we've been right about the bias since all the way up here. We've been right about the bias. And, I hate when this happens because sometimes when this happens, I make a bad decision. And that's where I don't want to be, in a position where I make a stupid mistake. So I'm just kind of being patient. But the bias is RTH gap, in my opinion, that we're going to fill that. We still got some ways to go before we do come down fill it. AMD of the 9 a.m. candle, what do you think in hindsight? AMD of the 9 a.m. candle. Dude, that's exactly what I was expecting, bro. I just was expecting maybe a little bit higher of a push into that Reaper gap. And, smart money got in before that, which is totally reasonable, right? But we did have the bias. I did essentially, think that we were going to AMD lower. Now I'm just trying to basically have self-control to say, okay, just because I know the bias doesn't mean that I should force something if I don't see anything. Another thing to note is we did rebalance the equilibrium. So, it makes a lot of sense why we did what happened. Why what happened the way that it did. Now at this point we're getting bullish SMT. So you really got to be careful here because S&P's already taken Asia low and London low here. Right? So now it's very possible that this SMT reverses price here. So you really gotta be careful, right? Could this end up being, since we're at all-time highs, could this end up being AMD? Yeah, honestly it could. Now I like that RTH gap though, is the only thing. But I don't know, at this point it's not looking super nice that we're gonna get an entry to go lower. I think it's more likely that we'll go higher at this point. Now we have a 15-minute fair value gap. Okay, so 1 minute change in state, looking very beautiful. Okay, all right, this is clean. So the 1 minute change in state, I missed it, but the 1 minute change in state looked pretty nice, right? So we have SMT with London low into a 15-minute fair value gap. Now we're about to inverse the 3-minute. Yeah. Hey, it's got the SMT, man. The SMT changes everything. It changes the whole narrative because now that we have SMT with London low and SMT took London low, NQ doesn't need to take London low necessarily. Okay, this inversion looks really clean on the 3-minute. So you could take a Jan entry here. You could. I'm going to be a little thoughtful. I want to make sure what I do is going to be something that I like. 200 risk. So this is going to be across, let's see. Okay, hang on. I'm not taking a trade yet. I'm just thinking. Because the volatility, it's messing with my brain on how much I'm supposed to risk. I'm not going to lie. So this is, I guess I gotta go back to the micro contract, dude. I literally cannot tell. We are into the first presented for value gap. Really? Oh, wait. Yeah, bro. So I like this. So the first presented for value gap, we might inverse this. And then we could look for first strike back to the upside after we retest it. So like this. First strike here. Maybe like a nice little SMT or something, right? We're going into the macro. So like for instance, right? Let's say we ended up going like this and we got SMT here. And then we got 15-second change in state. That would look clean. Like this, right? But I'm still trying to figure out the risk. If I don't have the risk figured out, I'm not taking a trade. So right now this is set up. Whoops. Right now this is set up to be risking 200. So on top step. So divide that. So multiply this by 10. Gets me. Okay, so this is 2 micros. Okay, I'm going back to the micro contract, bro. Hold up. So, yeah, let's say I was risking $200. Okay, this is making sense. Okay, so So if I was risking 200 on micros, I would need to buy 4 micros. Okay. So that would mean 16 micros if I was risking 800. Okay. All right. I got it figured out now. Not necessarily saying I'm doing that, but you know what I mean? I'm just talking. So we rejected the first presented for value gap. I think the bias could end up being bullish here. And so what this initial rejection, I was initially thinking that we were going to reject and then deliver lower, but honestly now I think we'll reject, inverse it, pop back down into it, and then go higher. I think that's more likely at this point. So honestly, that's kind of what I want to see. And maybe you could even take a trade where when this gets inversed, the first presented for value gap gets inversed. Maybe you could take a trade like that, but I'm not necessarily saying to do that, right? Now we are popping down into this breaker. This breaker could definitely deliver us higher. This could be very sensitive. Watch this breaker. This is also a 2022 gap in discount. So if you're a breaker, if you're a unicorn trader, you can maybe take this. I'm just not a huge fan knowing the RTH gap is below. You know, if the market did end up deciding that it wanted to draw lower, it could still do that. And I personally want to wait for more confirmation. So I'm not doing anything. But you can see how the first presented for value gap projected price. So once again, guys, I am just waiting for something obvious. Until then, I will be doing nothing. But this does, if I had to pick a side right now, I probably would lean. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So we are going into the macro now. Three. Yeah. So we might inverse this for value gap here, the first presented for value gap. Once again, we're delivering from a 2022 gap. So maybe you would consider taking this. Okay, so this 15-second change in state is probably going to deliver price higher here. I'm going to take this trade if we inverse the first presented for value gap. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for, I'll probably only go 2 cons. And then, yeah, that's essentially probably what I look for. An inversion of this first presented for value gap. Or maybe an inversion and then a back test of it. Like when we inverse it, maybe look for a back test of it and a limit order on the retest. That's a possibility. But yeah, we're delivering from a 2022 gap, which is a fair value gap in discount. Then again, I don't want to do something dumb. So this is 10 a.m. here. Okay. 3, 6, 9, 12. I'm not sure if I might wait for the lower time frame. I might wait for the first strike, right? Where we wait for a 15-second back test and then retest. That's what I might do. So once again, there's the 2022 gap. Okay. So we're going to inverse this. 9 seconds till we inverse this. So 2. So that's 2. Okay. All right. This is honestly a good entry. I'm just trying to figure out the risk. So 3, 6, 9, 3. So I'm gonna put a limit order at the gap for 3. 6, 9. Oh my gosh, I should have just entered. Wait, okay. Wait, hang on. Okay, hang on. Yeah, let's just be patient. So we did inverse this first presented for value gap. Now we are back testing it. Alright, I might do this here. Okay. Alright, so this is what I'm doing. Enter on the retest of this here. Well, maybe I could wait for a line time from change of state off of it. It's like my first strike. Okay, we're getting it. Wait, actually not yet. Okay, I'm gonna put a limit order at the low. Oh, I should have just entered. Wait. No, hang on. Yeah, right now I do. Okay, so we got 5-minute change in state. Dang it, bro. I should have just entered, dude. Yeah, we should have just taken the first presented for value up getting inverse, bro. Okay, I might just go on a walk because I'm trying really hard here not to mess up. That's why I'm being so cautious, and I also don't want to mess up the risk. Oh my gosh, we should have just taken the first presented for value getting inverse. Alright, I might go on a walk so I don't mess up. One thing we can do that's actually a pretty that's honestly pretty safe way to go, would be retest of the 5-minute change in state, which we actually haven't got yet. Oh, we actually haven't got the 5-minute change in state yet. Okay, so what we can do is we can put a limit order at the wake of the breaker. All right, I'm gonna go on a little walk. Yeah, we shouldn't mess this up. There's no reason to force anything. Yeah, I'm gonna go on a little walk. But dude, that was clean. That was cool that we predicted that. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna go on a little walk. We should have just taken the first presented for value getting inversed. Oh my gosh. My thought was correct though, right? That when we inverse this first presented fair value gap, that we were gonna go higher. The main reason I didn't take it, guys. Okay, here's the main reason I didn't take it is because I don't want to mess up the risk, and if I can't figure out the risk in my head before I take the trade, that's a big issue, right? If I mess up the risk on the trade, that's a huge issue, and that alone is reason enough not to take a trade, even if the trade is good, right? So that's what you have to understand. It's not that I didn't want to take the trade, I did, but I wanted to make sure that my risk was correct. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, if I don't have the risk right and I take a good trade, the whole trade, it's not a good trade, right? So I have to make sure the risk is right. And right now, the volatility... Dude, what the heck? Right now, the volatility is so high that, like, I wasn't sure if the risk was correct or not. And I still don't know why this is not working. But anyway... So, tough, guys, tough. I should have just taken the first percent for value getting inversed. I wasn't sure how many cons to buy. So it was supposed to be 3 micros. Yeah, it was supposed to be 3 micros. I was supposed to do 12 micros on top step, and then I could not have traded my personal, and then Well, I maybe could have, but there'd be like almost no stop loss. You took it? Well done, Sorab. No, it's okay, bro. The main reason I didn't take it was because of because making sure that my risk was correct. And that's just something that I gotta keep getting better at with time. But I don't feel FOMO. I mean, big part of trading is making sure that risk is correct. You know what I mean? If I don't have that risk correct, it ruins everything. So we will probably go much higher here, guys. We will probably go much, much higher. Yeah. Man, this would have been 10 to, this is going to be 10 to 1 probably. And so okay. Right? The issue is in my head, I have to figure out, okay, is this $200 showing $200 or $20? And then sometimes it's just confusing for me. Like 3 times 4, so I need to do 12. Dang it, bro. We're forming bearish SMT now. So yeah, I'm looking at this bearish SMT. So yeah, I was supposed to do. So this is risking 200, but I gotta turn this into micros, so I gotta move it over a decimal. So 3 micros times 4 would have been 12 micros. I was supposed to risk 12 micros. I don't know, bro. I think there's a chance, there's decent chance we're gonna expand higher with this SMT with London. But there's also decent chance we reverse. I mean, I don't want to get FOMO though. That's the main issue I have right now. You guys saw me say that this was gonna be the entry, right? You guys saw me say that. Dude, what is wrong with my camera? Okay, so obviously this was a buy model, right? I don't think this is done. I know. I know it's out of focus. I don't know why. I'm trying to just, calm my nervous system down because, um, I'm obviously upset. Like, I'm upset. I hesitated. I might just be done for the day, guys. I just messed up. Didn't take a loss. It's just, it's just frustrating, man. Like, you guys saw me call price all day long. I called it here, and I called it here, and then I called it here, and then I called it here. But I was too scared. I mean, it's not even that I was scared. I was just trying to be precautious. And yeah. Dang it. Okay, I think the discipline here is I might just close the charts. I'm gonna close the charts and just go walk away right now, because yeah, because I can't think straight right now, and I'm honestly, obviously, I'm pretty upset. So yeah. Bro, this was just the most obvious flow state in the world. I didn't even see that. Are you serious, bro? It's 15-minute for value gap with SMT and a 1-minute change in state right there. Alright, I gotta just go on a walk, guys. Dang it. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I am. I'm very, very sad. Like, I had this whole thing perfectly planned out. I said what was gonna happen, and I hesitated. I honestly, guys, I'm not in a good mindset to trade, so I need to end the stream. I'm very, very upset, sad, and disappointed. I don't know. Just not. I'm not happy about this. I need to end the stream. Bro, literally any trade, like literally any pressing any button here would have been an amazing trade, and I didn't do it. Alright, guys. I mean, yeah, it's part of the game, but it's still, it's still sad that I had the whole thing mapped out, and I hesitated, bro. I hesitated, and I faced the consequences of too much hesitation. You know what I mean? Whoops. That's exactly why are demo trades bad? Anyway, guys, I think I'm just gonna end the stream here. I'm not in not in a great mindset to be able to trade. Plus, we're at all-time highs, so I don't know. There's just not really gonna be obvious opportunity here. So, um, oh my gosh. Focus. Come on, Cameron. Anyway, guys, I know you can't see me, but thank you so much for watching. And, yeah, we'll just keep going until tomorrow. So, alright. Peace out. Till next time.